Hi and hello. You're welcome to Seven Leaves. Yeah, so obviously you see that I'm just arriving in a certain location, so I'm out of town. But I felt I just needed to record this. So let me show you guys. So this is where I'm stationed at the moment. It's not a bad place. Okay. Yep. So that's it. Okay. So I wanted to share one of the things I highlighted sometimes back about the relationship between poverty and wealth and time, and it's quite key, very important, and it's something that you need to actually take a lot more seriously in this time. Okay, so let's get it started. It's not going to be a very long session. It's just going to help you understand certain things and how you have to be a bit more aggressive, in this season. I touched on the difference or the similarities or how the people who are poor in this season are not just those who lack the financial monetary terms. They're those who lack time. And it's not just any kind of time. It is not just chronological time. You need to understand. It is chirological time, kind of like a kairos time, like a kairos moment. So there are moments and there are times that you need to do certain things. And if you don't do those certain things, they would not come back again. Or even if they do, you're going to have to pay more for it. Okay. So you need to be prepared that in this season, one of the core things you need to begin to ponder is the relationship between your time and the money you have. Time is going to be a very good way or a very good sense of getting money. However, you need to look at it in this term. If you're supposed to buy a piece of land or you're supposed to invest in something, if you don't invest today and you invest next week, the amount of money you are actually using to invest next week is different from the amount of money you should have invested last week. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Now, what I'm trying to say is every day, the power of the value of money depletes. And so you'll be needing more money to do something you should have done earlier. That means that when you know that something is the right thing to do, do not overthink it. Do not overanalyze it. Just go for it. Knowing fully well that the money you have now is richer than the money you're going to have next week. So that means that if you've got a 1 million naira in your account last week, the value of the 1 million naira in your account last week is actually more than the value of the 1 million naira in your account this week. So that means that if you actually use the 1 million naira last week, you will be you will have made a cheaper option than trying to wait for a week and then using the 1 million naira this week. Okay, so that's just the concept you need to begin to look at. Every decision you need to make, especially when it comes to financial decisions, you must be very intentional about them. Every time you hesitate, every time you overthink, every time you procrastinate, you're actually hurting yourself, especially when you're trying to look or build into the big game of things. So, big games that require a huge amount of capital, like real estate, huge assets, or some form of cooperatives or corporations. The earlier you make the decision, the better for you. And so, those who are going to be poor in this age are those who have the right information but do not use the right information at the right time. Okay, so there is such a thing as having the right information. The more time you spend on the right information, the quality of the rightness of that information begins to drain. Because time is a currency in this season that we must be very intentional about spending. So, for example, every time you spend on social media how much return on spending do you actually get? And so that means that with the way things are going, and like I mentioned earlier, taxation is going to be a very big problem that would make a lot of people poorer. For people who don't multiply their streams of income and seem to have just one of very few streams of income, taxation is actually going to catch up with them. What that means is that they will begin to spend more on what they used to spend less on before because of taxation. And so if they don't know how to manage their money well, they'll spend so much that they wouldn't even have much left. And so you need to begin to look at the time variance of investable decisions. I don't want all of these things to seem like big grammars, and what have you. You just have to understand that every time you spend, you must ask yourself, what's going to be the return on this spending? You know, um, Spending time is allowing time to pass. Investing time is doing something with time in such a way that after the passage of time, you actually increase your value. That is investment. Okay, so whatever it is you do, so remember the video I shared on the group, I was supposed to look at the 7 options. How can you use these options to invest in time? And the things you choose must be things that are investable, things that can increase your value, improve your value, improve the quality of the relationships, improve the quality of your mind and your skills. These are the things you need to start looking at. Because if you just put them in the wrong things, time is going to pass and you will not have maximized time. Dear friends, I need to overly emphasize this again, that every time time passes and you don't maximize it by making investable decisions, you're actually getting poorer. And for most people, the last sign of poverty is when they do not have cash to do the things they would have wanted. Because now they are not even able to use time to grow anything. The moment the quality of time you use in making investable decisions begins to reduce, then you're going to have a problem. Because there will come a time that you will no longer have the resources to run investable ideas. And that is poverty pro max. Okay, so we will be taking a look at certain decisions and actions we're supposed to be taking, especially when it comes to investment. Not just investment in terms of money, investment in terms of our time. And how do we make sure that everything we put into time, we actually get something back in return? Okay, so this is going to be one of the next tasks that we're actually going to be taking a look at. And once I'm done and settled a little bit, I would probably give a bit more resources or directions that would help us. So a week is almost gone of the 7 bulbs. So what bulb have you discovered this week? If you don't discover a bulb, so something enlightening, something that you decide to take action on and improves your chances of being wealthy, these are the bulbs that you need to understand. And you need to understand that many of the times what I give to you will be direction. I cannot solve the puzzle for you because we all have different puzzles we've got to solve. And so it is up to you to know that this time you really want to invest it into making something work for you. And before I close, we will also touch on highly mental stuff and sometimes delve into spiritual things as well. All of this is just to be able to open that frontier for us so that at the end of the 7 weeks, we will have in custody the 7 bulbs that gives us a sense of enlightenment and like a solution to improve our odds and our chances, especially in the coming days where things are seemingly becoming a bit more difficult. And I also say that you will have to make some tough decisions somewhere along the way. Okay, so get ready for that. And yeah, I'll see you in a bit, and enjoy the rest of your day.